Domingo Javela, I'm sorry for the name, Ito Michael Ocon, Jonathan Garcia, Joan Dube, Patrick James, and Sunday Chukwemeka OTC. We researched 12 areas of doing business in Nigeria. Today, we share the most important finding on our 3 product recommendations for the Vice Presidents. Let us begin with the cultural environments. Slide 2, please.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I'm Sunday, and I will cover the cultural environment using Goethe Hofstede 6 cultural dimension. The biggest gaps between Nigeria and the United States are on power distance and individualism. Nigeria scores 80 of power distance versus 40 for the United States. Nigerian expects clear hierarchy and the direction from senior leaders. On individualism, Nigeria scores 30 against the United States at 91. Nigeria is strongly collectivist. Term rewards and relationship building matter more than singling out individuals. In ideology, in indulgence, both cultures score high. Work-life balance and a positive workplace matter in both countries. For management, balanced directive leadership in Nigeria with consultation, mixed team, and individual rewards, and invest in relationships before pushing for results. Now over to Itoro on communication.
Yeah, that will be slide 3.
Our team compares Nigeria and the United States in terms of communication and scheduling culture. But by using Heron Mayan culture map, Nigeria and the United States differ on all 4 scales. Communication. Nigeria is high content, meaning it is in tone's relationship, while the United States is low content, what carries the full message. Evaluating both lanes indirect, but Nigeria more so negative feedback must be private and softened. Disagreeing, Nigeria avoid open conflicts, especially with senior. Silence in a meeting does not mean disagreements. Scheduling, Nigeria runs on flexible time while the United States on linear time. Build both ENSO projects plan, but communication thing, deadline clearly and early. Recommendation, train managers on these skills before deployment, deliver negative feedback privately, create safe channel for disagreements, and build flexible into project timeline. Thank you.
Now over to Christian. Negotiation.
Negotiation in Nigeria is based on respect, patience, and building strong relationships. Before discussing business, people often take time to build trust through friendly conversations and personal interaction. Respect is very important, especially when communicating with older people, business leaders, and professionals. Using polite language and proper title helps create a positive business environment. Patience is also essential because negotiation and bargaining, decision-making make time. Bargaining is common and the first offer is usually not the first agreement. Both parties continue discussion until they reach a mutually acceptable deal. Face-to-face meetings are preferred because they help build trust and understanding. Keeping promises and honoring agreements are also important for maintaining long-term business relationships. Successful negotiation in Nigeria requires respect, patience, trust, and effective relationship building. These qualities help create successful agreements and lasting business partnership. Thank you so much. I now hand over to Joan for government and politics.
Thank you, Christian. I am Joan. Nigeria is a federal presidential republic with 36 states and federal capital territory in Abuja. President Bola Tinubu took office in 2023 and has pushed major reforms, removing the fuel subsidy, reforming taxes, and moving to a market-based foreign exchange rate. 3 political factors matter for our venture. First, the 2027 elections create policy uncertainty, unfavorable in the short term. Second, security challenges, armed insurgencies, and kidnapping risks, especially in the north. Unfavorable affects supply chains and staff safety. Third, reform momentum, anti-corruption efforts, and FX liberation are favorable signs. Recommendations: enter with strong risk management, security planning, and trusted local partners. Now over to Domingos for the Economic Freedom Index. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Joan. I'm Domingos. The Heritage Foundation's 2025 Economic Freedom Index gives Nigeria a 33.4, mostly unfree, ranked 127 out of 184 globally and 24th of 47 in sub-Saharan Africa. The chart shows all 12 freedoms compared to the world average. The strengths are government spending at 94.5 and labor freedom at 72.8, but the spending score in I mainly because the government does less, not because it does it well. Labor flexibility, on the other hand, is a genuine win for hiring. The real warning signs are in rule of law. Government integrity is just 22.4. Corruption is widespread. Property right is 25.4. Asset and land titles are weakly protected. Caution to the Vice President. Weakly rule of law is the biggest risk. Use strong local legal support, careful partner vetting, written contracts, a budget for backup electricity, avoid larger fixed investment until institutions are tested. Now over to Jonathan for regulatory environment.
Thank you, Domingos. I'm Jonathan. Nigeria business regulatory environment is workable, but not friendly. We compare 3 areas to regional and OECD average. Starting a business takes about 8 procedures and 7 days. The cost is around 27% of income per capita, much higher than the OECD's 3%. Paying taxes is complicated, about 48 payments per year and 343 hours preparing them. The OECD average is just 10 payments and 158 hours. Contract enforcements take around 454 days and cost 42% of the claim value, faster than the regional average, but still slow and expensive. Recommendation: use local legal and tax advisors. Build a strong local partnership. Include arbitration clauses in all contracts and budget for backup power and longer customs timelines. Now back to Sunday for tariff and trade agreement. Yes, Sunday.
So you should be on mute.
Sorry. Nigerian tariffs are based on the World Trade Organization's most favored nation principle, same rate for all WTO members without a free trade organization agreement, free trade agreement. The simple average is around 12%. The trade-weighted average is around 8.7%. By category, agricultural goods are 15 to 20%, industrial goods are 8 to 12%, and machinery are renewable are 5 to 10%. The big opportunity is the African Continental Free Trade Area. It reduces tariffs between African members. So sourcing from another African country can most much less, and producing in Nigeria opens up tariff-friendly access to the wider African market. Recommendation: compare landed cost of finished imports against local assembly and treat AFC FTA as a strategic asset. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Jonathan again, and it's just to say Nigeria is actively attracting foreign direct investment. The incentives are real. Pioneer status, tax holidays for qualifying industries, free trade zones with lower duties, full foreign ownership in many sectors, and the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission gives one-stop support. But the risks are also real. Corruption, weak infrastructure, security issues, and sector-specific restriction in certain industries. Recommendation: start with partnership or smaller subsidiaries to learn the market. Scale to larger fixed investment only after the venture and the local relationship are established. Now over to Christian for economic conditions.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Now we look at the current economic condition in Nigeria. Nigeria's economic has experienced both growth and challenges between 2020 and 2024. PPP per capita GDP increases gradually from $5,411 to $5,665, showing a slow improvement in purchasing power. This means consumers may have a greater ability to buy products and services over time. GDP growth recovered from minus 1.8% in 2020 to 4.1% in 2024. This indicates that the economy is growing and creating more business opportunity. Inflation rose significantly from 13.2% to 33%, making goods and services more expensive and reducing consumers' purchasing power. This increased operating costs for businesses. Interest rate also increased from 11.5% to 27% as the government tried to control inflation. Higher rates make borrowing more expensive for business and consumers. Nigeria offers opportunities due to economic growth and improving purchasing power, but companies entering the market must carefully manage the challenges of high inflation and interest rates. Thank you so much. Now hand over to Joan for currency.
Thank you, Christian. It's Joan again. The Nigerian naira has fallen sharply against the dollar. In 2021, it was around 410 naira per dollar. Today, it sits around 1,400 to 1,450. Several factors drove the decline. The 2023 FX liberation let the official rate fall closer to the market rate. Foreign reserves were under pressure, oil revenue was volatile, and inflation has been high. Three implications for the venture: imports become more expensive, repatriating profits get harder, naira earnings convert to fewer dollars, but local production becomes cheaper in dollar terms. Recommendation structure: the venue to be as naira denominated as possible. Source locally where feasible to create a natural hedge. Now we move to our three product recommendations, starting with Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Our first recommendation is a pay-as-you-go smart solar home kit. It addresses a real problem: unreliable electricity, especially in rural communities. Generators are expensive to run because of fuel costs, and full solar systems are out of reach because of the high upfront price. Our kit includes a solar panel, rechargeable battery, LED lights, phone charging ports, and a small fan or radio. Customers pay daily or weekly through mobile money as low as 200 naira per day. Our edge comes from four things: daily mobile money payment, built for informal income earners; a localized agent network in villages and markets; smart lock technology that only activates the kit when payments are correct; and a bundle package that improves lifestyle, not just lighting. Competitors like Lumos and D-Light target urban customers. We target the undeserved informal market. Now over to Joan.
Thank you, Sunday. Joan again. Our second recommendation is affordable household water filtration system. Access to clean drinking water remains a serious challenge in Nigeria, especially in rural and low-income urban communities. Many households rely on unsafe water sources or spend a large portion of their income buying bottled water. Our system would be affordable, portable, and simple enough that anyone can use it without technical training. NAFDAC certification on filter cartridges and a monthly cartridge purchase model that keeps it accessible. Bottled water brands like Nestle, Pure Life, and Ever too expensive at scale. Industrial systems are too costly for households. We fill the gap in the middle, serve water at an everyday household price point. Now over to Domingos for our third product. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Joan. It's Domingos again for our third product. Our third recommendation is a fortified pre-mixed gari and beans flour. Most Nigerian family buy gari, beans, and maize flour, loose from open markets, unfortified and inconsistent. Anemia, child stunting, and vitamin A deficiencies are still serious in Nigeria, especially in the north. Our edge comes from three things: sourcing from Oyo, Benue, and Kano, which cuts our exposure to the Naira. The NAFDAC standard fortification with iron, zinc, vitamin A, and B vitamin. Most small competitors keep these. And daily purchase packs at 500 grams, 1 kilo and 2 kilos, priced for kiosk, not supermarket packs. Competitors like Honeywell, Tangot, and Golden Penny focus on wheat, not indigenous staples. So we addressed what Nigerian family actually eat every day. And now to our closing recommendation, I pass it to our brother Patrick.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Domingo. Our recommendation to the Vice President, yes, Nigeria is worth entering carefully and with the right partners. The opportunity, Africa's largest population, reform momentum, a growing middle class, and three product categories with clear unmet needs. The real risk, weak rules of law, inflation of 33%, security concern, currency volatility, and tight credit condition. The approach, they start with partnership, not large fixed investments, source locally, budget for backup power, use international arbitration in large major contracts. Thank you for your time. We welcome any question you may have. Hello?